They thought they were arresting a man, but they were igniting a movement. On August 5, 1962, Nelson Mandela was pulled from a quiet road in South Africa and disappeared into the prison system. They thought they were silencing him. Instead, they gave him a louder voice than ever before. In the early 1960s, Nelson Mandela was South Africa's most wanted man. A trained lawyer, a defiant activist, and the secret leader of the ANC's armed resistance. He had already been arrested before, but he escaped surveillance, traveled across Africa and Europe gathering support. He returned with strategy and with fire. To the apartheid regime, he was no longer just a threat, he was the spark. Mandela was disguised as a chauffeur, riding with his friend. But police tipped off, some say, by the CIA were waiting. A roadblock, a forced stop. And just like that, it was over. He was arrested for leaving the country without a passport and inciting strikes. But that was only the beginning. He was tried, then tried again. In 1964, he faced the Rivonia trial, charged with sabotage and plotting to overthrow the government. He stood before the court and said, "I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society. It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." The courtroom fell silent, and Mandela was sentenced to life in prison. You'd think that would be the end of his story. But what happened inside the prison walls might be even more powerful than what came before. Stay with me. Mandela spent 18 years on Robben Island in a tiny cell, sleeping on the floor, breaking rocks in the sun. He was cut off from the world, forbidden to see his children grow. But every day, he taught, he debated with guards, educated fellow prisoners. He turned prison into a university of resistance. His voice could not be heard, but his silence echoed across the globe. While Mandela sat in his cell, his name exploded outside. Free Mandela concerts, protests on college campuses, economic boycotts. The South African government tried to erase him, but they made him immortal. After 27 years, on February 11, 1990, Mandela walked out of prison, fist raised. He didn't call for revenge, he called for peace. He would go on to lead negotiations, dismantle apartheid, and become South Africa's first black president. And it all began with an arrest on a dusty road. Sometimes, a prison sentence doesn't break a man. Sometimes, it builds a legend. Nelson Mandela lost 27 years of freedom, but he gained a voice that still speaks through generations. If this story moved you, subscribe now. Because history isn't just about what happened, it's about why it still matters.